Hello and welcome to Self-Aware Soul. Thank you for joining in today. I am Jacinta, your guide to personal and spiritual growth. In today's episode, we're going to explore the power of intuition, how you can connect with it, and how to live a life full of purpose and an alignment by using it. I've had the privilege of teaching workshops on developing intuition in person, and today I'm excited to share what I've learned over the years with you on this video. Whether you're new to this practice or already feel a strong connection to your intuitive guidance, I'm here to offer practical tips, simple exercises, and insights to help you tap into this powerful tool. First, let's talk about what intuition really is. Intuition is the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. It's that gut feeling or knowing that can guide us when we are faced with decisions or uncertainty. Sometimes people may say, I have this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I've talked about this in my book, Let Your Heart Speak, Truth Lies Within. Intuition is like an inner voice or compass. It's always there, ready to guide us. And sometimes we need to clear away the noise around us to hear it clearly. Or sometimes we have to set aside our logical mind to not let it interfere with what our inner voice is telling us. Think of it as the voice of your soul, your higher self, or your spirit, however you choose to interpret it. Our logic tends to talk us out of what we sense, feel, or hear from our inner guidance, because our inner guidance may not make logical sense. I know this because there was a time I relied on my logic because I love to make sense of everything. Over time, I learned to trust my intuition because it has served me well. When we learn to trust and listen to our intuition, it becomes easier to live with purpose. Living with purpose doesn't mean having everything figured out. It means trusting the process and making decisions that feel aligned with your values, goals, and passion. Intuition helps us figure out what is right for us and what isn't, and it nudges us in the right direction even when our logical mind might be second-guessing. In my own experience, I found that when I trust my intuition, things seem to flow smoothly and much easier. Whether I'm deciding which healing practices to focus on or how to guide someone in a session. Intuition has been my guide in all areas of my life, and it has always led me to a place of peace and where I need to be or should be. Now, let's talk about some practical ways you can start to connect with your intuition. If you have already been listening to your own inner guidance, you probably can relate to this. Here are some 3 simple steps you can begin practicing today. One of the biggest blockages or barrier to hearing in our intuition is a busy, noisy mind. To connect with your inner guidance, it's important to create a space for stillness. Take a few moments each day to meditate or simply sit in silence. As you do, notice any subtle thoughts, feelings, or sensation that arises. That's your intuition speaking to you. In time, with practice, you won't really need to intentionally quiet your mind to listen to your intuition, because you will learn already how to sense and know when your intuition is guiding you. That's how I am now. I don't need to sit in silence to listen to that intuitive voice because I can feel it. I can feel the guidance coming in. Intuition often comes in a form of a gut feeling or an instinctive knowing or that feeling in your stomach, as one would describe it. The next time you have a strong feeling about something, whether it's a decision or interaction, pause and listen. Trust that inner nudge, even if it doesn't make sense at first. I recall a time when my client was trying to understand what is that inner nudge is. So that inner nudge is like, you can be busy doing something and then out of the blue you have this thought that is totally not related to what you were doing at hand. That sometimes could be an inner nudge or inner guidance talking to you. That's when you want to stop and listen or get the sense, get the feel of what it is trying to tell you. And go with it. Whether it makes sense or not, go with it and see what the result is. This is what I shared with my client, and when she tried it, and she was pleasantly surprised with the result. So I would suggest you can try that too. Another great way to tap into your intuition is through journaling. You can ask a question and then write down whatever comes to mind without judgment. This is when our logical mind tries to step in and brush it off. But go with it. You can document these nudges and you can even write how you logically talk yourself out of this. So in future you're able to confirm for yourself how the intuition helped you when you followed it, despite of how your logic tried to talk you out of it. Oftentimes, when we quiet our mind and let the words flow, we access our deeper wisdom. Trusting your intuition can be a challenge, especially when it goes against with what logic or others may suggest. But the more you practice listening and trusting, the easier it becomes. I recommend starting with small decisions. Ask your intuition for guidance or something simple, like what to eat and what activity to do. As you get comfortable with trusting small things, you can gradually apply this to the bigger decisions in your life. Remember, your intuition is always available to you. It's just a matter of tuning in and trusting that it will lead you where you need to go. There were times in my life when I liked to make sense of things, as I mentioned earlier. It was easy for me to shrug it off, only to find later that there was a reason why I should have listened. For example, one day my son called to say he was visiting me and told me what time he would arrive. I decided to step out to do grocery before he arrived. As I got into the car to go to the nearest grocery store, my intuition guided me to go to a different grocery store, which was twice the distance from the one I was going to. Since I've had many regrets not listening to my intuition, especially when I get into my car to head to some destination, I often get an inner voice telling me which route to take, and I wouldn't because it didn't make sense for me to take the route that was not direct. This time, I had a stronger inkling that I do need to take that guidance from my inner voice, and that because I do need to get back home from the grocery to wait for my son's arrival. So I went with it. I got home on time to await my son's arrival, but he was delayed because the route that I was going to take to go to the grocery store was blocked for hours because the train barrier was blocked due to ice and the traffic could not pass in both directions, causing a major traffic jam, and my son was stuck in the traffic in the same route. Had I taken that route, I too would have been stuck and not be able to be home. So there were many instances where I heard my inner voice guiding me, and I also began to realize when my logical mind was trying to talk me out of it by trying to make sense of it. I learned to trust my intuition and not listen to my logic. Time and time again, I learned that my intuition was truly helping me for my greater good. The more I've practiced trusting my intuition, the more I've realized that it's one of the most powerful tools that we have for navigating life with authenticity and clarity. And I've learned to trust it, but I have to admit there are times I still fall back into my old habit of listening to my logic. But when it comes to a major decision, I do try to weigh my decision based both on my intuition and my logic and come to some kind of agreement, and that usually works out better, because you actually do need your logic too sometimes, because logic helps you to be grounded. Logic helps you to understand that you're making right decision as well. So I'm not entirely going to say logic does not help. It does help. You just need both to help you with important decisions. I've been teaching my clients to learn to trust their intuition or how to recognize it. They too have found it very helpful in their daily life. I would recommend you to try to listen to your intuition or your inner guidance. You'll be happy that you did, and you will know how helpful it will be. It will also help eliminate self-doubt, gain confidence, or even overcome your fears, because you know you have an inner guidance that will help you in all that you need. I hope today's content helps you feel more confident in your ability to connect with and trusting your intuition. Remember, this is a skill you can develop over time, and the more you practice, the stronger your connection will become. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who may benefit from it. And if you have any questions or experiences with intuition that you'd like to share, please drop them in the comment. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next episode. Love and light.